Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another set of Genshin Impact reactions. Today we have two from Harshit in the comments, and this is War with Pepper and Fish, which is a weird title, and also Machination of Mehenet. These are apparently Inefa and Nefer's demo songs, and I'm going to call them Inefer from here on out. That's going to be my, I guess my ship name, my crack ship name for them. I don't even know if they have anything related to each other, but that is what I'm going to call them. But all that's irrelevant, just my ADHD going burr today. So I guess without further ado, let's go! Ooh. Okay, so it is kind of similar. I was wondering, because I've heard Inefa's other, like, not the demo, but the, I forget what they call it. It's like the demo and the other, like, is it like a debut trailer? I already forget. Oh, trailer. Like I said, today's been a little bit weird for me. Ooh. Okay. Hell yeah. Oh. Woo. Dude, hell yeah, Nefa. Get some of that. Damn. Damn. See, and then it just kind of loops back to this, like, very Blue Archive feeling sort of track. Gorgeous. And even though I did say the Blue Archive thing, if you've never heard the Blue Archive soundtrack, most of it sounds like the intro and outro of this song. So if that's your vibe, listen to some of that. All right, so this song, an absolute blast, much as you would expect out of this. And like I made the parallel with the whole Blue Archive thing, that's just because of the vibes. They're all uplifting and it feels really good. And same thing kind of here with the genre choice. It's just exactly that. But now I can explain to you why that is much better than I used to be able to. And for this case, there's actually a few things in here that are really interesting in music theory. So to start off, the key of F major. That's what this whole song is in, but don't hold too close to that key because there are two different blue notes in this song. And blue notes, for those who don't know, are basically flattened versions of notes that are basically designed to add a little bit of tension. And that's exactly why they're called blue notes after all. They're made for blues and jazz, and not like exclusively, but definitely was popularized by those genres because you want to add a little bit more spice to those genres. You want to have things that are a little too close to home and make things sound a little bit more tense than usual. That's exactly why you use blue notes. They usually add just a little bit of sadness, but in this case, it just adds a little bit of shifted tension to the song and keeps it kind of rolling. This genre does that a lot, especially like the intro and outro again. They love to do that in this genre. I don't entirely know why either. It's just something that sounds kind of cool and is totally valid. So for most of the bass line of that first part of the song, we got like a, which is sitting on the F and the E, but then it goes, and that's our first blue note. That would be a seventh on the key of F major, which isn't supposed to be there. Usually, F major would have this instead, that being the D, this being the D flat. But that's just how that works. When you want to add a blue note, you have to add either the third, the fifth, or the seventh of the key and flatten it. So that's what they did here for this little, like, kind of chromatic downward step that adds a little bit more tension as we get into the main meat of the song, because for the next while, we don't do that again at all. It mostly seems to hang around like F, C, E minor, and B flat as far as the chords that make out this song, at least the bulk of the melody. And that's, you know, a great little progression there. It's technically the 4 chords progression. For those who know what that is, literally the most popular progression ever, and that is totally valid, you know? It's just the way to make music comfortable. It's basically just familiarity. You're used to hearing that, right? It's excitable, it's normal, so it's really easy to gravitate towards as far as those progressions go. and it sounds good. So roll with those and you'll have no problem. But for the whole key here, so I can just give you a little bit of context there, we've got fantastic. And just so I can show you what it sounds like when you have that 1/7 in there that I already played earlier in the key in context, I'll remove the note that it would replace on the way back down here. I'm sure you can already feel the huge difference there. And again, we'll be getting to another one, but just so you can have this again, this is the normal key of F major. And the only reason I brought all of that up is because I want to mention the next part we get a blue note in here, which would be a third, not a 7th this time, and it's the A flat being added this time around. And it comes when the song decides to take a little bit of a darker turn, I suppose. It gets a little bit more dense and gritty. It sounds a little bit darker. That does this little rundown of, and it uses that there. Because again, if I were to play this in the normal key, it would be, and it doesn't sound right, as you could probably tell. Sounds much better, and that's exactly what's happening here. So it's just another little adjustment to the key to add a little bit more tension as we lean into that tension. But we get rid of that note basically entirely after that one moment, and we go right back to the normal progression that we just talked about. And that's mostly where the song stays, just in a little bit more of an angry variant, I suppose. I do think it changes around the pattern of what exact chords are being played here. I'm pretty sure that it sticks to these, but I think it might like start down here and then go like up and then back down. And that variety is a great way to shift the emotion of a track and keep things a little bit more fresh, especially when you're trying to change the overall feel of the song like this while still keeping it in the same key. So that's just a way to do that, right? It sounds great. It expands things a little bit, especially with all the other electronic stuff going on here. It just keeps things alive, bouncy, fun, and exciting the whole time you're listening to it. Even though they're not doing anything that's like out of the box or wild or anything, they definitely have some fun in here. And the chords, I believe, might also be adding in some 7ths, which for those who don't know what that is, like I've mentioned 7ths already, but this would be the normal way to add a 7th in here, is like adding this note above this chord here, adding that. So this is a D minor with an added 7th, or even like a C like I just played earlier, but then again with that extra 7th, just kind of adds that lift on there. I don't think that this one is in there specifically, it's just an example of it, but I love that they're doing this and having some fun with throwing things in there and just making it sound more lively the whole way through, including adding those like darker moments in the song. The outro has a really fun bit too, because it basically utilizes, I think, 3 whole octaves of how to like really end on what they did with the final little flourish they had on the piano in here. It just sounds so cool. So let me play that real quick. I had to turn on the sustain so you could hear this properly, but love that. What a beautiful stretch. It's really interesting that they went down so low and came up so high. I really like how they use like 3 octaves for this. It just sounds so cool. So like to start off, we have the F and the A. Like this would be the octave, but it's that and then some with that F and the A. And then it's basically just skipping every other note for the next couple. And then this one, just to add a little bit of tension at the very end, goes right to the next one after it, ending on the A. So we actually have an octave here where that relationship, like, that's like the 3 octaves we got, just, you know, a few extra notes down for that first one. Nice relationship there and everything in between it. And it just sounds so warm. Oh, gorgeous. Just enough tension to like leave you wanting more, but not enough to make it feel like you missed something, you know? I absolutely love it when composers throw this sort of stuff in there because it could have done without that, but it's the fact that they were like, you know what? I have an idea. Let's run with it and see how it sounds. And that's exactly what makes these beautiful little moments happen in music. Just these absolute jazz perfection, beauty. It's, oh God, it just feels so warm. Yet again, just not quite enough to make you feel like you're missing out on that hug. It was just a little too short for the amount of time you think you're going to be away. It's that sort of shit that these sorts of songs get me to feel. But I've been yapping about this one long enough. I need to get to the other one. So let's get to Machination of Mehenet, shall we? Oh. Oh. I know we just talked about blue notes. I think this might be a mode, though. Okay. got some, like, Egyptian deep club house. Woo! I don't think that's an Egyptian scale. Might be a Phrygian, which is very close.
Let's play again upon a board of shadows. The price is yours, so the rest in my hand. It advances appetite. Your kingship's shaking. Gonna see this last. Like Evie waking.
Oh! Ah, what's up with both these songs having just... Ooh.
Following a dying shadow. Here to find a fading echo. Never lingers in the hollow. A memory letting Virgo.
I think it is an Egyptian scale. Oh, it's gotta be. Woo. Absolute fucking banger already. Still got more. Hell nah. Hey, 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 get it. Hell yeah, what the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ, that's how you're ending it? Talk about leaving me wanting more. Holy shit, what a fucking banger. Absolute fucking banger, absolute peak. This song is going to be attached to me at the hip for the next, I don't know, foreseeable future, a couple months maybe. I fucking love this sound. Absolutely fucking insane. Coming back in there at the end with just the filthiest of beats. Just how dare you? I also thought this might have been an Egyptian scale or a Phrygian scale, which is just something that sounds like an Egyptian scale and vice versa. But this is actually something a little bit more unique, I think. The problem with a lot of these more ethnic scales is that a lot of them kind of start to blend together because they are all utilizing some sort of tension built into the keys and scales that are hard for my Western ass brain to really wrap my head around, especially so early into my general music theory knowledge and learning. So I believe what this is an A-flat Algerian scale, which is close to a gypsy scale, and those are not the same thing, but it's somewhere between an A-flat Algerian or a G-sharp gypsy scale, which would also be a Hungarian scale. So it's just like, which one? Could not tell you exactly, but it does follow most of the notes of each. The only confusing part to me is that it does seem to start in a different key at the start, which is kind of normal when you want a song to evolve from something else to a different sound. Like in this one, it starts a little bit brighter and ends in that like more like dark energy of the song, and that's kind of where that Algerian scale comes into play. But the beginning kind of just goes... and it, you know, variants of that up to the point. But the confusing part to me is these two notes, you know, those two don't exist in the A-flat Algerian scale. So I'm like, okay, they must be from something just adjacent to it. Again, they do that a lot for these, but these two are completely skipped by entirely in the Algerian scale. So I'm sitting here like, all right, it's got to be some variety of that, because later on in the song, when it starts to get like more into the nitty gritty of the beats and you have a lot more of that filth to work with, that's the best part, right? I fucking love it. But it mostly messes around in that scale. As you can probably hear and recognize those notes from it, this has a lot of fun in it. Like, you can definitely do normal things like the E flat there, but it's not based on that, you know? It's mostly used for things like improvisation. A lot of metal groups will do this sort of thing on the guitar. This is a super popular grouping of notes to use for solos and stuff like that, especially in metal, because they want that dark energy with it, but it's super common in other parts of the world as well. It's just in the West, that's where we get most of it, so it's not really seen as like a melodic scale, despite it being largely just a chromatic up and down. It just skips in some weird spots for the standard scales we have in the West, and that's why it acts as such a good bridge for those genres, because they want a little bit more of that like ethnic energy in their music when they want things to sound just a little extra spicy. They want something that doesn't come from fucking white bread, mayo having ass music. They want some actual fucking music. But the reason I am confused is because, like I mentioned earlier, the Gypsy scale and then this Algerian scale, they're close but not the same. For example, just going up the scale here, right? That would be the standard one. I believe that the G sharp Hungarian would be, and it adds that extra D in there for some reason. And it's like, cool, great, fantastic, but it doesn't really happen anywhere in this song. That note does not exist in their improvisational bit, so I'm assuming that they're just using the Algerian scale because it doesn't include that note, and it works better for the overall scale of everything, and it just feels better. But damn, this song is such a banger. I mean, you know it, I know it. I love the production on this one. I love that they were just playing around with some weird stuff like that intro. Again, just weird how that sounds compared to the rest of the song. They definitely wanted to do something a little bit different in that, and having the F and F sharp in there, but it sounded good, you know. It was just more like a soft introduction to what would be coming later. And then the additions of like the voice clips in here and like the little laugh at the end, like all of that shit is fucking banger. I love it when producers put in those little details just to keep things moving, keep things lively, and have a lot of fun with it. But I think I'm done yapping about this one, so thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to get to something else from Genshin, by all means drop in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you don't want to do that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!